Hi there, I'm Adam Brown, or at least one version of Adam Brown. And in this video I'm going to explore online identity in relation to celebrity culture and performativity. These two concepts are fundamental to understanding present-day social media use. As I said in a teaching video way back in 2013,
we live in amazing times. We live in a time where anyone can make a short video, upload it to the internet and become an instant celebrity. In a time when we can engage with the rich and famous via Twitter and maybe every now and then get a reply from them. In a time when any amateur video can suddenly go viral.
Good girl. Good catch.
To talk us through the massive impact that celebrity culture has had on social media behaviours, I'm going to draw on one of the very first interviews I ever conducted. This interview was with Professor David Marshall, who is widely recognised as a leading researcher and world expert in the areas of celebrity studies and online personas. I should acknowledge that this is not my best filming. I didn't even own a tripod when I was making this, and I still remember the struggle to hold the camcorder up for close to half an hour. But I'm sure you'll find that what David has to say made it worth it.
Celebrity studies is often a study of reputation, a study of attention, a study of influence, and in many ways online forms, social media forms, push people to make themselves visible in the same way as celebrities are visible. And so that research tradition of studying how people become well known, and admittedly they have agents and publicists that make them well known, and definitely cultural forms that make them well known, may be a way to interpret what happens when people put up a YouTube video, or what happens when they put up some explanation of themselves in Facebook and it goes a little bit viral or becomes a meme. Those sorts of things are very similar to what has occurred in entertainment culture and, to a degree, political culture for the last century. And seeing the intersections of this weird world of online culture, which is trying to attract attention, and looking at it through the lens of celebrity, allows all of us to see what are the implications of becoming public. I'd say the selfie moment is a moment where we begin to realize that the self that we imagine is only a kind of persona, is kind of a mask. It's not that it's negative. We can't think of it as a negative mask. It's just a way to strategically move through that aspect of contemporary life. So the selfie is not that big for me. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not Snapchatting. I'm not doing any of those things, but it is really big for 12 to 18-year-olds and moderately big for other people, depending on how they use them. And for that demographic, if you can describe it that way, they have to negotiate a new level of the selfie moment. They have to say, what am I doing? How am I doing it? And they're getting, again, a kind of literacy that allows them to say, you know, I'm constructing this image for my high school friends. I'm limiting that image, and I'm making sure that that image does not migrate to my family. And they are working these things out right now. And that is the production of personas, which is at the very core of what I'm studying and doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the dominant discourse is that young people don't know what they're doing, but in fact they could be becoming, in some ways, a lot of people could be becoming more self-reflexive about it and understanding that the idea of performance, which is huge in...
Exactly. I think we sometimes get into moral panics a little quickly, and we believe that some of these things are incomprehensible. But my observation so far, and this is anecdotal in some instances, but thought through in terms of how other people have written about it and looked at other things. But if I'm watching my son, who's 16, incredible sophistication at controlling their notion of what they reveal, a level that I would never even have thought of when I was growing up. And so as much as we think about how we move through a streetscape, and we are imagining our clothing and our hair and our movement of our body as a reflection of ourselves, we are now getting very sophisticated at a mediatized version of the production of the self. And those who are on the vanguard of that are probably the people who are using Instagram hundreds of times a day.
Hopefully I've made clear in my previous videos the potential value of being active and visible online. I was going to speak for a few minutes here about the issue of personal branding, reflecting on some of the questions that came out of my chat with David. But I like to bring in the most diverse range of voices that I can into my media. And this is particularly the case when I can get the insights of industry practitioners who are out there working in the field. As I was searching through Twitter a couple of weeks ago, I saw a short video posted by PR practitioner Trevor Young to his followers. While we've likely been following each other on Twitter for a while, I've never met, spoken with, or even sent a message to Trevor before, but I decided to reach out and ask if Trevor would be happy for me to use his video in this one. And once again highlighting the real value of being connected to collegial networks of people, Trevor generously said, "No worries at all." In his video, Trevor reflects on strategic visibility, the need to add value in respectful, relevant and non-intrusive ways, and the benefits of having an online presence that is governed by professional personal branding. Trevor says everything I want to say here and more. The connection between understanding the influence of celebrity culture and the nature of performativity to Trevor's real-world industry advice here is unmistakable.
A core part of professional personal branding is strategic visibility. So what that means is that as a business professional, as a business leader, as an owner, entrepreneur of a small but growing business, that you just start popping up in people's feeds, but in really respectful ways. So think of them as respectful reminders, little golden informational nuggets that, you know, it's a little comment there, or it's an interesting little photo there, or a micro video like this there, here. And a little, you know, you're sharing, you're liking, you know, you're having comments on other articles that you're sharing, or you're partaking in a thread of that's a debate around a particular topic or issue. And so you're just, you know, maybe you're speaking on stage and people taking photos of you, but there's this, I call it presence. If you're going to do it in a bigger way, it's omnipresence, where you pop up on omni-channel, a number of different channels, but you're doing it in respectful ways. It's not about blah, blah, and I'm interrupting you and saying, aren't I great? Here I am, hello. No, what it is that you are adding value along the way through your social efforts, through the content that you're creating and the micro content you're creating, or the bigger stuff, you know, you might be writing some chunkier, meatier pieces, but that you and other people are sharing. It doesn't matter as long as strategically it's right, and you're popping up in front of the right people on their feeds, and others are sharing you and liking you and talking nicely about you. So that's strategic visibility. So what we wanted to do is have a little bit of presence on the social channels. We don't just want to be a participator, we want to have a presence. And so when people are ready to buy, or they want a speaker, or they want a, you know, a new employee, or they want to partner with you on this new project, or they're, you know, a non-profit board and they're looking for an expert just like you, then they know where to come because you just keep popping up.
So the question is, how do you plan to appear in people's feeds in relevant, useful and non-intrusive ways this week? When you look to add value, that's always the fastest way to get value in return. There's a whole world out there that's just waiting for you to pop up into it. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave me a comment down below and subscribe to this channel to get updates about future videos. You can also find more media from me on my blog Digital Zones, my Facebook page Digital Zones, on Twitter I'm Digital Zones, on Instagram I'm Digital Zones, and on Snapchat I'm the last surviving member of my boy band. And it's just me now.